Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we got a teacher that got arrested once again for sexting her students. So this isn't a first time offense, this is the second time. And I thought we'd just watch the clip together.
Just weeks after a Tennessee teacher is arrested and charged with raping a child in her own home, she's arrested again. This time for reaching out to a victim with threatening messages. 38-year-old Alyssa McCommon was arrested the first time on September 8th in Covington, Tennessee, about an hour north.
So first off, let's just look at the fact that she was arrested one time and they let her out. I think later in the video it tells you it was like $26,000, so you know she's loaded. But the fact that she's going after kids and she's 36 years old is just wild in my opinion. And she's not pretty at all, so I don't know what these kids are even thinking. Maybe they're just really young and they don't know what's happening. But she's ugly.
Of Memphis. Police had been tipped off about allegations of sexual misconduct between the teacher and a former student. Since then, multiple students have come forward with similar accusations. Officials say McCommon started talking to students outside of the classroom by playing video games with the children before switching communication to social media apps. After that, they say McCommon sent explicit photos before requesting sexual.
I think the first flag would be literally her playing games with students. I mean, why the hell did your teacher play games with you? I mean, I see if it was a male teacher with male students. Unless he was gay, it wouldn't be really weird. But then she started texting him, and that's just I've never texted one of my teachers ever. So I don't know. Maybe people do that. I don't see that ever happening because it always turns out weird as hell.
Relations with the victims. McCommon was charged with rape and booked into Tipton County Jail. She was later released after posting $25,000 bond. But McCommon was arrested again on September 28th after allegedly reaching out to a victim again. Law and crime legal analyst Julie Rendelman says her alleged actions are against the court's rules.
When an individual is released on bond, they are specifically told they're to have absolutely no contact whatsoever with the victims or potential witnesses in the case. So it is a little unexpected that quite a short time after she's released, she decides that it's a good idea to reach out again to one of her 12-year-old victims and threaten them in terms of them going forward with this case.
Investigators with the Covington Police Department say that after her initial release, McCommon used a previously unknown phone number to contact one of the victims. They also say she used a code word with the child that the pair used to use to signal the boy was alone. In the past, she'd allegedly used that same code word before sending him nude photos via Snapchat.
She thinks she needs to.
I want to know why these kids are texting her back. What is going on in their head? They just want to see some anime titties? What's going on here? It's kind of crazy. Hey, I mean, do what you want to do. But maybe they just wanted her to send pictures so they could prove that she's sexting them. Maybe they want to show their friends. Maybe they want to show everybody. I don't know. Just weird as hell to me.
To try to get this individual on her side.
Among the latest messages, investigators say McCommon allegedly admitted to the sexual interaction. She also told the boy he'd, quote, regret doing this, meaning contacting the authorities.
Gotta threaten him.
Anytime.
Rendelman says investigators will likely contact other victims.
I'm not gonna lie, this case is very serious, but who hasn't ever dreamed about actually their teacher ever doing this? You see on the news, a teacher bang one of their students, and you're thinking why can't I live in that town? Just me? Alright.
Victims as the investigations continue.
Remember, part of the reason that she's asking if they're alone and then threatening them is she's hoping they won't repeat what she's telling them. And so there may be other victims out there that are too scared to come forward, too scared after she's contacted them yet again. So we expect there's going to be an additional investigation and maybe even more charges levied on this defendant.
After McCommon's first arrest, Law and Crime Network spoke with former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Florina Altschiller. She says McCommon used a classic grooming tactic to reach out to her former students.
They're not a stranger jumping out of the trees with a gun, raping somebody. They're coaxing
That'd
their
be
victims
scary.
into a level of trust and comfort. She was playing video games with these boys. She let them think that they're friends, that they can trust each other. And then once they're in a position of comfort and trust,
How do you go from playing games with your students to sending them your titties? How do you just jump the gun like that? I mean, I see, like, they said she was dipping her toes in the water at the beginning, but, like, that's just crazy. She jumped head first and was just praying no one would snitch on her.
then it usually starts with minimal inappropriate touching, and it progresses from there to a point where there's actual sex. Um,
Nah,
and
she didn't
this
have
is
sex with the
really
students, did
pretty
she?
common with both male and female perpetrators.
McCommon taught fifth grade at Crestview Elementary
Fifth
School
graders?
in
She's banging
Covington
fifth
until
graders?
this year, when she was moved to Charger Academy to teach fourth grade English and
Oh,
language
hell no.
arts.
Now fourth
When the
graders?
police investigation began in late August, she was suspended from the district without pay. Altshuler says it's McCommon's role as a teacher that likely influenced the grooming process.
The reason it's so egregious when teachers do this is because teachers are.
Bro, I thought she was banging like an eighth grader. Like someone that's actually matured, gone through puberty. A fifth grader? Man, that's just crazy. Like, they're just barely learning about the body. And you're out here sending your anime titties and just playing with their little, what do you call it, diddler? Yeah, let's call her diddler. That's just wild, dude. They're too young for that. Way too young. And I know she had sex with one of them, because I'm going to get to that at the end of the story. I'm going to get there. Because I know she did sleep with one of them.
And it's the same thing because the
Sick.
family member has frequent access to the child.
We all know you got that
because
one
they're in
uncle.
a position of power and control. They're in a supervisory role. They're in a position of trust. The child looks up to them. The child believes them.
I mean, think about it. They gotta look up to him. Shoot, they're like fucking 5 feet taller than them. Obviously, they're looking up on him. But hey, I know y'all got that one uncle. Don't lie.
It really does not take long for them to turn that into kind of innocent, accidental touching sometimes to test the waters and see how the child will respond. And then once they know that they can trust the child to not report or complain, they keep taking it a step further and a step.
This is dipping your toes. Homegirl dove head first. All right, let's just say that she dove head first. Maybe she dipped a toe, but she dove head first. All right. Don't tell me she didn't.
Further.
If convicted, it's likely McCommon will be placed on a sex offender registry. On top of that, Altshuler says she would lose her teaching license and could face time behind bars.
Most crimes that are sexual in nature do require registration on the sexual registry or the registry of sexual offenders. But that being said, every state is different, and it's going to depend on the level of crime that she's convicted of.
Bro, she was
Some of
banging
the
a fifth
lowest
grader. What do you
level of
mean she's not even
crimes
put on the list?
do not require registration. I expect, though, that a district attorney's office that has sufficient proof that this did happen is not going to allow a sexual predator to take a plea without the registry requirement. I expect that she will never teach again. I don't
Hopefully.
see any school district employing somebody who's convicted of something like this. That would be outright negligent of a school district.
Maybe she can go get a job at Disneyland or freaking Disney Channel, because, I mean, they'll take you in there if you're a sex offender. But hey, she can't be a teacher no more. She can't be touching little kids. You know, and she needs to be put on a list and monitored. The fact that some people in some countries that won't happen, nah, that ain't right. She needs to be put on a list and put in jail.
To employ a known sexual offender. I expect that she will lose her teaching license in that state, but also that no other state would hire her if they know of her conviction, which should be disclosed. And depending on the level of crime, yes, you're looking at prison time.
Good.
If it's a lower level misdemeanor that she pleads to,
Put her in prison.
then she could potentially avoid prison time. If we're looking at a felony, you're talking about at least 1 year in prison, and it just goes up from there.
As the case makes its way through the justice system, Rendelman says additional charges could be on the way. But she's also surprised at how low McCommon's bond was set the first time. McCommon now faces additional charges, including coercion of a witness.
Alright, I'm gonna get straight to it. I said earlier in the video, homegirl has sex with a student. So they posted recently new allegations. I guess she's saying she's pregnant from one of the students. I don't know how that makes sense. Maybe 5th graders are hitting puberty sooner than I thought they were. I don't remember. I don't remember being a kid, honestly. But hey, she's saying she's pregnant. I mean, maybe she is, maybe she's not, maybe she's a liar. Maybe I'll do a video on it. Who knows? But that's it for this video. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.